Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. If you love diving deep into biblical history, theology, and archaeology, you're in the right place. Today, we're tackling a topic that has been making waves across the internet, a supposedly lost chapter of the Bible. Before we get into the details, take a moment to support this content. Hit the like button as it really helps spread this information to more people. Share this video with your friends and family, especially those who love learning about ancient texts and biblical discoveries. And most importantly, drop a comment below. Have you heard about this so-called lost chapter? Do you think new discoveries could change our understanding of the Bible? Let's discuss. Now, let's separate fact from fiction and dive into what was really found. Is this a groundbreaking revelation, or just another case of media exaggeration? Let's find out together. Recently, headlines have been circulating about a newly discovered manuscript of the Gospel of Matthew, with some claiming it reveals a hidden or banned chapter of the Bible. Sensationalist articles have suggested that this manuscript contains previously unknown passages, fueling speculation and controversy. However, upon closer examination, these claims appear exaggerated or misleading. Many journalists have framed the discovery in a way that suggests drastic changes to biblical history, but without providing proper academic context. This has led to confusion among the public, with some even believing that churches deliberately removed parts of the Bible. Faced with this wave of speculation, I took the time to investigate the original academic publication behind this discovery. Now, I want to share with you what was truly found, beyond the sensational headlines. So, is this manuscript really a game changer? Or is it simply another case of misinterpretation? Let's dive deeper into the facts. To truly understand this discovery, we must look beyond media reports and examine the academic source behind it. The manuscript in question was analyzed in a peer-reviewed study published by New Testament Studies, a respected journal associated with Cambridge University Press. Unlike news articles that often prioritize eye-catching headlines, academic journals follow rigorous standards. The publication process involves blind peer review, where experts in the field evaluate the research without knowing the author's identity. This ensures that only credible, well-researched studies are accepted. Many media outlets, however, took details from this scholarly research and sensationalized them, suggesting that the manuscript contained groundbreaking revelations. But what does the actual study say? To answer that, let's explore what this manuscript really is, where it was found, and how it fits into the larger historical context. The manuscript in question was analyzed by Austrian researcher Gregory Kessel, a specialist in Syriac language and medieval studies. During his research at the Vatican Library, he discovered that this document was a palimpsest, a manuscript where the original text had been erased and overwritten with new content. The text is written in Syriac, a dialect of Aramaic, which was widely spoken by early Christians, especially in regions like Edessa, modern-day Turkey, and Syria. Syriac was one of the earliest languages into which the New Testament was translated, making it an important resource for understanding early Christianity. Kessel's analysis revealed that the manuscript dates back to the 6th century AD, significantly later than some media reports claimed. While some sources suggested it was from the 3rd century, there is no academic evidence supporting this earlier date. This discovery, therefore, does not present a previously unknown chapter of the Bible, but rather a Syriac translation of a known passage with minor textual variations. Next, we'll explore what these differences actually are and what they mean for biblical scholarship. To fully grasp the significance of this manuscript, it is important to understand the historical and linguistic context of Syriac and its connection to early Christianity. Contrary to what many assume, Jesus did not speak Hebrew in daily life. Instead, he and his contemporaries primarily spoke Aramaic, a language that had become dominant among Jews after the Babylonian exile. When the Jewish people returned from exile, Hebrew was largely reserved for religious and liturgical use, while Aramaic became the common spoken language. One of the many dialects of Aramaic was Syriac, which gained prominence in the early Christian communities of Edessa and Antioch. As Christianity spread in the 1st and 2nd centuries, Syriac became a key language for the faith, and one of the earliest translations of the New Testament was written in Syriac, possibly even before the first Latin versions. Even today, small Christian communities in parts of the Middle East still preserve ancient Syriac liturgical traditions. Understanding this historical shift is crucial because the newly analyzed manuscript is written in Syriac, reflecting the linguistic landscape of early Christianity. Now that we have this foundation, let's examine how the manuscript was discovered and what was actually found within its text. Gregory Kessel's discovery was made possible through advanced imaging techniques, specifically infrared technology. This method allows researchers to detect erased or hidden texts beneath later writings, similar to how forensic scientists use special light to reveal unseen details at crime scenes. The manuscript Kessel examined was originally part of a medieval Syriac text, written over an older layer of scripture. Through this analysis, he identified a fragment of the Gospel of Matthew, specifically Matthew 11 verse 30 to 12:26. One of the major misinterpretations in media reports was the claim that this manuscript dated back to the 3rd century AD. However, Kessel's research confirms that the text is from the 6th century AD, making it centuries later than some of the oldest known biblical manuscripts, such as the Codex Vaticanus, 4th century AD. Additionally, the text does not introduce a lost chapter or drastically alter biblical teachings. Instead, it contains minor textual variations, which are common among ancient manuscript traditions. One such difference is a small addition in the passage where Jesus and his disciples pick grain on the Sabbath. The Syriac text includes the detail that they rubbed the grains in their hands before eating, a minor expansion rather than a radical change. In summary, this discovery is significant in biblical textual studies, but it does not redefine Christian doctrine or reveal a hidden part of the gospel. Next, we will compare this manuscript with other known Syriac texts to see how it fits into the broader history of biblical transmission. This newly analyzed Syriac manuscript is not the only ancient translation of the Gospel of Matthew. In fact, scholars have long known about other Syriac versions of the New Testament, including the Sinaitic palimpsest Syriac translation found in the St. Catherine's Monastery, Sinai Peninsula, the Curetonian Syriac, a manuscript used in textual studies, also referenced in academic research. The Vatican Syriac manuscript, another significant Syriac version housed in the Vatican Library. What makes Kessel's discovery interesting is that it adds to our understanding of how the New Testament was transmitted in Syriac-speaking Christian communities. However, it does not introduce major theological changes or contradict what we already know from Greek and Latin manuscripts. A key characteristic of Syriac translations is that they often contain paraphrases, expanding or slightly rewording certain passages for clarity. This explains why the discovered fragment includes small additions to the Sabbath story in Matthew, such as specifying that Jesus' disciples rubbed the grain in their hands before eating. Rather than challenging biblical authenticity, this manuscript actually reinforces the stability and consistency of the New Testament across different linguistic traditions. Next, we will explore how the Bible has been preserved throughout history, despite numerous attempts to destroy it. One of the most remarkable aspects of biblical history is how well-preserved the scriptures have remained, despite centuries of persecution and destruction. Throughout history, there have been numerous attempts to eliminate or alter the Bible, including Roman persecution. Emperor Diocletian ordered thousands of Bibles to be burned. Medieval restrictions. Some religious authorities, such as Pope Innocent VIII, prohibited laypeople from owning or reading the Bible. Modern suppression. In the Soviet Union, Bibles were confiscated and destroyed. Despite these efforts, the Bible remains the most widely preserved ancient text in human history. To illustrate this, let's compare its manuscript tradition to other classical works. Julius Caesar's Gallic Wars. Only 10 copies survive, with a 1,000-year gap between the original and the oldest copy. Titus Livy's History of Rome. About 200 copies, with a 360-year gap from the original. Plato's Tetralogy. Only 7 copies, with a 1,200-year gap. New Testament manuscripts, over 5,800 copies in Greek alone, and more than 47,000 copies including Latin, Syriac, and other early translations. This overwhelming number of manuscripts allows scholars to cross-reference and verify the accuracy of biblical texts over time. Rather than being corrupted or lost, the Bible has been meticulously copied and preserved. The discovery of the Syriac manuscript further confirms this, showing that even in ancient translations, the core message remained unchanged. Next, we'll explore how this consistency supports the Bible's reliability and its impact on people's lives. Beyond its historical preservation, the Bible stands out for its profound impact on people's lives. Unlike other literary works, it has the unique ability to transform individuals, communities, and even entire societies. To illustrate this, consider the following. If you were to distribute classic literary works, such as Jorge Amado, Nelson Rodriguez, or Fernando Pessoa, in a maximum security prison, how many inmates would turn their lives around after reading them? While literature can educate and inspire, it does not typically lead to radical life transformation. However, when Bibles are distributed in the same environment, something remarkable happens. Prisoners abandon crime and violence after encountering biblical teachings. Ex-convicts become ministers, leaders, and positive influences in their communities. Testimonies of redemption and new purpose emerge, even in the most hopeless situations. This is because the Bible is not just an ancient text. It carries a divine message that changes hearts and minds. Its teachings on love, forgiveness, and redemption have proven transformative across cultures and generations. The discovery of the Syriac manuscript reinforces this reality. While media reports attempted to sensationalize the findings, the truth is simple. The Bible remains unchanged and powerful, just as it has been for centuries. As we conclude, let's reflect on what this means for us today. Is this book just an artifact of history, or is it a living message with the power to change lives? So, what can we take away from today's discussion? The Bible is not just an ancient text. It's a book that has been preserved, studied, and lived for centuries. This latest manuscript discovery only reinforces its reliability and historical consistency. But this is just the beginning. There are so many more fascinating biblical discoveries to explore. Hidden manuscripts, archaeological findings, ancient translations, and much more. If you enjoyed today's video, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Make sure to hit that like button. It helps spread this content to more people who love history and biblical studies. Share this video with friends and family who might find this discussion eye-opening. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future videos about Bible history, archaeology, and theology. Your support helps keep this channel alive and allows me to bring even deeper research and engaging content to you. So, what do you think about today's topic? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. See you in the next video. Until then, stay curious and keep exploring the wonders of biblical history. God bless.